We now move on to the next set of sums, and it says number 7, evaluate the following. There are 4 sums. I am doing all of them on the board. Number 7, evaluate the following. A 625 in brackets divided by 25 close brackets divided by 5. Now when a sum, now all the sums are based on division. Now when a sum presents to you like this, or presents itself to you like this, where the operation is in brackets and then there is an operation outside the bracket. Remember children, what's inside the bracket needs to be solved first. Remember when we were doing the properties of multiplication, one of the last properties, that is sum number 4, not sum number 4, sum number 5, where we had taken the common number outside the bracket and added the other 2 numbers inside the bracket. And you will remember that first we added the numbers in the bracket and then we multiplied. So always throughout your maths work, even right into the higher classes, it will always be told to you that what's inside the bracket has to be solved first. So what's inside the bracket? 625 divided by 25. So I take 625 and I divide it by 25. For that you must know 25 times table. Now either you can write 25 times table in the rough, or you can mentally also add, because 25 plus 25 is 50, 50 plus 25 is 75, 75 plus 25 is 100, 25 plus 25 50, 50 plus 25 75, 75 plus 25 100. So 50, 25 ones are 25, 25 twos are 50, 25 threes are 75, 25 fours are 100. Now 25 twos are 50, so I am close to 62. Because 25 threes are 75. I have not 3, it won't go 3 times, it will go only 2 times. So 25 twos are 50. 2 take away 0 is 2. 6 take away 5, 1. I have a remainder of 12. I am dividing correctly because you can see the remainder is always smaller than the divisor. Every time you get a remainder, it should be smaller than the divisor. If it is not smaller than the divisor, you are dividing wrong. That means you have to increase the quotient by 1 or by 2 if you made a bigger mistake. That means the number out here is much bigger. Means it can go 1 time more, 2 times more, 3 times more. Nevertheless, your division is wrong if the remainder is greater than the divisor. See, the remainder is smaller than the divisor. That means I am dividing correctly. But if I get 50, 60 as the remainder, which is greater than 25, that means I am dividing wrong. The remainder is always smaller than the divisor every time you have a remainder. Let's take down the next digit, 5. Now it becomes 125. 25 1s are 25, 25 2s are 50, 25 3s are 75, 25 4s are 100, and 25 5s are 125. So 25 5s are 125. Do I get a remainder? No. 0 0 0. So now I have got the quotient as 25. We never call this as an answer. Some children call it an answer, but don't call it an answer. Call it a quotient, because a dividend is being divided by a divisor. When I divide a dividend by a divisor, the number that I get is always called a quotient. And if there is a number or a digit, actually a number remaining, which stops my division any further, that's called the remainder. Now I have got a quotient 25. That means when I divided 625 by 25, I got the quotient as 25. Now this 25 has to be divided by 5. So 25 divided by 5 to get my answer. And how many times does 5 go into 25? Do I actually have to divide it? Like a small little baby of class 2 and 3? No, you are in class 6 now. So your mind should work like a class 6 student. 25 divided by 5. If I divide 25 by 5, I ask myself, how many times does 5 go in 25? 5 goes into 25 5 times. And that's my answer. So 625 divided by 25 or 625 divided by 25 gives me 25. And that 25 divided by 5 gives me 5. So 5 is my answer. Let's go to the next two sums, B and C, which are quite simple. It says 0 divided by 21. If I don't have anything, 0 means nothing. Divided by 21, if I have nothing to divide, my quotient will be nothing. So 0 divided by 21 is 0. It's not 21. It is not 21. 0 divided by 21 is 0 because there's nothing to divide. And you're dividing by 21, so nothing will be the answer. 0 will be the answer. If you think it is 21, then the dividend would be something else. Because the divisor, that is 21, multiplied by the quotient should give the dividend. If it is dividing completely, without any remainder. So, a 0 divided by any number gives you 0. Remember that. Let's go to sum C. 22 divided by 0. A number divided by 0 is also the answer is 0. Don't say 22, 22 is not the answer. Don't say 1 because 0 ones are also 0. It won't give you 22. So a number divided by 0 is 0 and a 0 divided by a number is also 0. Remember that. Whether a 0 is being divided by a number or a number is being divided by 0, the answer is always 0. Let's go to our next set of sums. Or next sum, the last one of this, last part of this sum. 15625. 15625 divided by 125. The whole thing divided by 25. Again, I have to work out the sum exactly like I did in sum number A or part A of sum number 7. So I have to take what's in the bracket and solve that first. So I will take 15625 and divide it by 125. Now remember here children, you cannot and I do not expect you to learn the table of 125. So for that you will have to work out a rough workout here and multiply 125 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and keep it ready. If I give you some of this kind in the examination, then you have to make a table at here. In this passage, you can, or at the end, at the side of sum, make your table of 125 and then work out your division. At least make out the table till 6 times or 7 times. Now I know that 125 ones are 125 and 125 twos are 250. Doesn't go in 1, doesn't go in 5, doesn't go in 156. Now I have 156 to deal with. But 125 twos are 250. 156 is smaller than 250, so it will go only one time. So 125 ones are 125. What's my remainder? 6 take away 5, 1. 5 take away 2, 3. 1 take away 1, 0. See 31. It is smaller than 125. So that means I am dividing correctly. Every time you check your remainder should be smaller than your divisor. If you get a remainder greater than your divisor, that means you are dividing wrong. The next digit comes down. 125 twos are 250. 125 threes are 3 fives are 15, 3 twos are 6 and 1 7, 3 ones are 3. 375. But this is 312. So it will go only 2 times. What do I get? 250. 125 into 2 is 250. 2. I will borrow 1 from here. This will become 2. 11 take away 5 is 6. 2 take away 2, 0. Take down the next digit, number 5. Now I know, because I'm a maths teacher, I'm your maths teacher, and I am a maths teacher. So I know how many times 125 will give me 625. It is 5 times. You do not know, so when you get a sum of this kind, you have to work out your table at this side. I don't require a table, but you do. So now 125 5s are 5 5s are 25, carry 2, 5 2s are 10 and 2, 12, carry 1, 5 1s are 5, and 1, 6. Do I get a remainder? No, I don't get a remainder. So I get my quotient as 125. What I worked out in the bracket, the answer is 125. Now this 125 has to be divided by 25. This 125 has to be divided by 25. Here we did 625 divided by 25. Now we have 125 divided by 25. So now either you write 25 times table and find out how many times 125 is, or you can take also 125 and divide it by 25. And again you will have to take down a table of 25. 25 ones are 25 twos are 25 threes are. You can see here in our previous sum we did 25 fives are 125. In the previous sums here we've done 25 fives are 125. Similarly 25 fives are 125. And therefore my answer is again the quotient that I get 5. Remember there are 2 steps to this. That means I first have to divide what's given in the bracket, get the answer, not the answer, get the quotient, and that quotient has to be divided by the number that is given outside the bracket. But you first solve what's inside the bracket. So 125 divided by 25 gives me 5. All of this, that is right from sum A, B, C, right up to D, everything has to be copied into your notebook. Sum number 7.